All right, we're live. Well, we're not live, but I'm recording. And let me stop this music. All right. So, be quiet. Grown folks is talking. My name is Alan C. I'm the CEO of New Kingdom Entertainment. Like I said, this is my podcast. Be quiet. Grown folks is talking. Uh, I'm not, I know a lot of things. I don't know everything. I'm definitely a work in progress. Tonight I'm interviewing a gentleman next to me that I've known for quite some time. Actually, full disclosure, he's family. He's a son of my cousin, so he's definitely family, and he's about to embark on what I think is going to be an incredible journey. So, Scott, introduce yourself. Let people
How
know
you doing?
who you are,
I'm
what you're
Scott
about.
Joyner. Oh. How you doing, guys? I'm Scott Joyner. I'm running for New York City Mayor of New York City. I'm from Brooklyn, Bed-Stuy, but I reside in Jamaica, Queens right now. running on an independent line. I used to be a Democrat. I was a Democrat for 12 years, but when I figured out what was going on with that team, they don't have no real strategy or real plans. I switched over to being an independent. Independent, I'm not backed by any political parties, Democrat, Republican. I'm just working strictly for the people. And I'm ready to take on this challenge.
All right. So, um, I think it's commendable, but I have to ask you certain questions about your platform and your team and things like that. So, who what what is your platform exactly?
My platform is basically running on New York City. Everything that New York City I'm burning on. How can I make New York City financially independent from the government, from federal resources, along with tackling economic, criminal, and public safety issues, along with transportation. There's a lot that's going on. There's a lot of money that's going out that we don't see anything back in return. All we see is more inflation. So I'm trying to minimize the inflation, bring it down, merge departments, bring revenue back to New York City so we won't have to have higher taxes or worry about public safety issues. That's another thing that I really worry about, along with education. We got to make sure that everybody's in tune, everybody's on their own accord. We need to make sure New York City is first, but we don't act like that. We against each other. We battle each other, but it's not about that. We got to make sure we come together as one. It's us against them. Is That's what it is, and that's how I think that we should tackle this situation moving forward.
So, let me ask you this: do you believe we have an immigration problem in New York City?
I don't think that immigration. But I don't have a problem with immigrations. Again, like I said previous times before, I have a problem with criminal immigrants that do criminal activities in New York City, robbing, stealing, raping, injuring, shooting, stabbing. Those people we don't need here. But again, now that we got Trump, he's vetting a lot of people. There's a lot not a lot of immigrants that's coming over there as criminal or this like that in the third. But at the same time, we got to worry about what's in house. I think that if they want to work, go to school, and create a better life for themselves, I don't have no problem with that. New York City is built on immigration. We all know that.
All right, so that leads to me to a follow up to that. Okay, we say we don't want criminal immigrants here, but how are we supposed to go about finding out who's the criminals? Like how are we supposed to determine who are actually criminals? Because that seems to be a problem that people are being accused of being criminals just because they're immigrants, and there's no due process. So, what do you feel about that?
I felt like again, they need to be vetted. So it starts federal, then it comes to us too because they need our resources. Do you get it? So if you need our resources, at the end of the day, I feel like everybody's supposed to be vetted. Who are you? Where you came from? Like we gotta understand that. Like what are you trying to do, basically? But if you out here for mischief, then that's the problem. That's right there. You know, like we can have what's happening in Venezuela and all this other stuff. Like them gangs over there, when they run rampant, and then there's no control. You see what happened in Chicago? They took over a whole project building. They outside, they doing whatever they need. So we need to vet them a little properly than what we doing. We can't put them in our hotels or nothing like that until everybody is vetted. That's what it is.
Well, there seems to be a lot of misinformation concerning what you said about gangs taking over buildings and things of that nature. I know there was one incident in that same town that I forgot the name of the town that Trump claimed that they was eating the dogs and the cats. That some small offshoot of some gang did do some problems in that building. But see, this is my problem with that talking about illegal immigrants or immigrants that are committing crimes. Who's to determine that? Because nobody's going to court. People are just saying things, and see, that's becomes an issue for me in politics in this country. Period.
Okay.
People are just saying things without any evidence, without any.
The fake news, because that's where it's coming from. Look, at the
Well,
end of it, what he said was that people was eating cats and dogs, right? And then they rebutted with, "There's no credible source," right? Saying
right.
that,
That
but
what he said was
there's
true.
sources. What you going? Who's credible? How do you value who's credible and who's not? So there are probably allegations out there of that happening, but they not calling them credible. So wordplay
Well,
is everything, isn't it?
no, I well, this is what I know is
Okay.
there's certain ways to establish evidence.
Okay.
All right. So evidence has to be, you have to have, all right, somebody could say something, but if there's not more people to say the exact same thing or some evidence to corroborate what they're saying, then what they're saying means nothing. It's not evidence, because evidence needs to be in a court of law. When you go into a court, when you present evidence, it has to be corroborated. And the more it's corroborated, the more it's presented as being accurate and being the truth. That's not happening in this country at all right now. People are just
It's
saying things. There's no evidence to back it up. There's no corroboration, and to me, that's a big problem. So, me personally, I don't like to repeat things if I can't prove them, if I can't corroborate them, if I can't prove them.
100,
Right?
100. That's 100%. That's us, but that's not them. And
True.
again, I don't know on whoever is Trump marketer. They did a hell of a job because he got in office. Whatever it took for them to,
Well,
oh yeah, Trump talked
let's
about
go
cat.
there. Let's go there.
Okay, but
Why do you think he got elected?
because the Democrats didn't have no clear plan. They don't have no clear plan. They don't. They just moving. They just moving on. They smiling people's faces, and then they still take. These Republicans, they'll tell you what they're gonna do. Everything that Trump said he was gonna do, what is he
Oh, no
doing?
doubt. No doubt. No
So
doubt.
it's like
So
at the
why
end of
would
the
you
day,
think so okay, why would you think that people would vote against their best interest when he told them, like the people that are being deported right now, he told them he was going to do that? Why do you think those people would vote for him when he told them what he's going to do to them?
because they didn't understand the logistics behind it. Nobody even thought Trump is smart. Nobody even thought about the him canceling the DEI, the
Okay,
takedown.
okay.
That
Now
nobody thought. Nobody,
you just opened the door to
but
what
it is.
I was about to say. Is I truly believe that 50% of the reason Trump got elected is racial.
It is. We all know that.
Well,
We
see,
all know
that's
that.
what.
But
Well,
you
but,
got to
but,
think
but we
about
don't
it.
say
Hold
it.
on.
We don't say
Hold
it
on.
enough. We don't say it enough.
Uncle Al, hold on. You got
Go
to
ahead.
think about it. Let's think about 100 Republicans against 100 Democrats, right? Who's funding more money to the party?
shit. Right now, it's about the same. They both gripping. They
No,
both.
we all know 100 Democrats because they the ones that's making money. Those are the ones that's in the career. These are the ones that's doing what they need to do. True or not true? Let's look at Elon Musk. Just look at it. These are the people with money. So 100 Republicans, they donated 100,000 compared to the Democrats who say, "Oh, I want to vote. Just vote for you."
I,
Are
I
they
mean,
really? Are they really? Are they
what?
really putting money to the cause?
What I'm what okay, I don't I'm a little confused about what you're trying to say. Are you
What I'm saying,
saying that more people that the Republicans are getting more money, they're getting more funding, they have more access to capital than
they do
Democrats?
the funding
Well,
than
I don't know.
Democrats.
I don't know because Kamala Harris had $1 billion.
How
And
much
it's like
Trump
you
had?
said earlier, it's like you said earlier, Democrats don't have a plan, and she didn't have
They
a plan.
don't
She didn't have enough sense to distance herself from Joe Biden. Joe Biden was popular, so why wouldn't you have distanced yourself from him?
because
Distance
he's
yourself from
still he's still his her boss. He was still her boss. But at the
him.
same time, during them 4 years that she was in office, she didn't come out until the last year, bro. Even if so, you seen his health declining. You seen him fall off the bike. You seen him fall down the stairs. You seen this. We all did. So when are you really gonna wake up and be like, yo,
Nobody was really. I can only tell you one media outlet that was saying that he should step down way before, almost a year before they did. And you know who that is?
who was that?
The Young Turks. Jake Euclid.
Okay.
He was the only one that was saying that. And also he said something that I felt should have happened too. They shouldn't have anointed her. They should have had an open convention.
But at the same time, you gotta understand, even when I'm campaigning, Democrats are Democrats strong. You get what I'm trying to say? They don't understand that it's not the same Democratic Party it used to be.
No, it's
You get
not.
what I'm trying to
Absolutely
say?
not.
But you
Absolutely
know,
not.
there's still prime voters that still like, yo, this is what it is, and I'm still gonna vote this one regardless of anything. But you know, even as a candidate, you get what I'm trying to say? Like, I understand. I understand, but when are you gonna wake up when it's too old? Like, oh, we fought for this Democrat, but even though we was Republican first, what happened?
Oh, we know what that happened. That's a Southern strategy, bro. Don't.
But yeah,
I
but do
mean,
you get what I mean?
you
But
of all people got to know what happened
no,
with
no,
that.
no, I know.
Don't
But
try to
I'm just trying
conflate
to
that
no, no,
that
no.
we should be Republican because actually we should be what you're doing. We should be independent. We shouldn't be
We
one
all
or the other.
should. And
Okay.
everything, I think every mayor should be independent. Because if you got two parties fighting, true or not true, we need the middle. We need the middle. If you need somebody with a lateral thought that's not going to side with either party, but you get what I'm trying to say. But we need America. We need New York. We need everybody to understand that there's not a two-party system no more. You get what I'm trying to say? But at the
No, I
same
agree.
time, New York City
They both in Democrats, and there's not that much room between Democrats and but they both taking money from the same people.
is the same shit. It's the same
Okay.
shit.
But but
NRA,
but
NRA, Health
uh-huh.
Department, yeah, they still take it. Big Pharma, NRA, whatever. I'm not taking money from none of them people. Matter of fact, I want to put
So
more years.
you're saying you're not going to take
I
any
would
money
never
out
take money for them.
huh?
I would never take money from Big Pharma or NRA
Well,
because
let
at
me
the end of
ask you
this,
something. Let me ask you something.
okay.
Where are you going to get your funds from to run
I
your
want it to
campaign?
come from New York City people. You get what I'm trying to say? They have a campaign matching fund. They match it 8 to 1. If you donate $10, that's $90. That's all I'm asking. I
Well,
just
let me
need.
ask you: have you developed a website now
I have a
to?
website. I do have a website. I'm gonna tag y'all to it. I'll tag it
No,
to
we'll talk
Al.
about. We'll. I'm gonna let you. You'll present that before we get finished, because I'm gonna like. I was gonna segue into what moves you're making. What does your team look like? Do you have a team? Like, you have a spokesman. Like, what are you? Are you just in really just in the beginnings of doing basically everything?
Well, right now we in the meat and potatoes. We in the meat and potatoes right now. This I'm petitioning right now as we speak. You get what I'm trying to say? I need at least 5,000 signatures. I do have a team. My team is very small because I cannot allocate the funds because I'm a low party donor. You get what I'm trying to say? Because
No,
people don't understand.
absolutely.
So people
That's
don't
why I
really.
say this is gonna be an amazing journey. You about to push a boulder uphill.
Man,
That's what
look,
you about to
my
do.
thing is, I'm gonna try my best. I'm not gonna give up until the end. I gotta hold my staff accountable just as well. I want to hold New York City people accountable and New York City workers accountable. If they not doing what they supposed to do, then I'm gonna lay it down. I'm gonna fire them. I'm gonna do the same thing. But you know what? If I'm running on a "they feel I won't" slogan, then I gotta push it. I gotta and I question my staff plenty of times, and they could all tell you like I need y'all to push through. This is my team. This is my core. I trust y'all. Look, it's a long battle. I understand. We probably won't get the funding, but at the end of the day, you will still have this on your resume. We still gonna fight. We still gonna do what we do. That's it. That's the name of the game. I'm gonna still push my agenda across, whether they like it or not. Andrew Como and this guy Eric Adams, the party promoter, now they want to come jump over to Independent. Now y'all want to come over here, steal my signatures. Like y'all crazy. Y'all crazy.
Well,
Like come on.
Adams is a joke. Adams is a joke. If
And
we
Como.
if we vote him and we vote him back in again, that's like doing Trump. That's like voting Trump. We would be
But what
insane
about
to
Como?
vote him back in office, huh?
What about Como? We know Eric
Oh
Adams
yeah,
is a
well,
dog.
Como too. Como too. Como
And that's the thing. That's
is
my campaign. That's my campaign slogan. They failed, I won't. We gave everybody that's in office a time. Oh, Scott Stringer, Jessica Ramos, this, that. Y'all been in office for how long? What are y'all doing? That's the problem. They seasoned and they seasoned politicians. I'm not a politician. I serve at the leisure of the people. I want to give $100,000 back of my salary to the
now.
community.
Huh?
I
Say that
want
again.
community. I want to
Say
give
what you said.
100. I said I want to give $100,000 out of the mayor's salary to community centers. We need community centers. These kids is running
Okay.
rampant out here.
Okay.
We need this. This is what we need. We need initiatives to help
How much is
these
a mayor weight? How much the mayor weight makes?
250,000.
Okay. Let me ask you another question because you kind of brought it up about how you feel about what your job is and what your purpose is if you get to be mayor is to serve the people. Now, from what I've observed, this is my personal observance of the culture of this city and public servants, that a lot of public servants don't understand that they're public servants. You couldn't
I
get the
tell them
mayor. You
that.
couldn't right now. I guarantee you, because I seen in action the clown that we have in office now. If you asked him what was
Party
his
promoter.
job
He's a
and
party promoter.
was he a public servant, he would never say and admit that he's a public servant and that his job is to serve the public.
You
Like
gotta
most
serve
public
at the
servants,
leisure of the
like
people.
well, but most people don't. Most people that work for the city and work for this city
But
don't
we
think
gonna
that.
get them out. And that's what I said. That's just like if I run up to a cop and they be like, "Oh, I'm a good cop." How can I even tell what's going on? I don't know you, but I understand that. It's a long road ahead. Like again, I felt like Eric Adams failed. He been failed. Y'all think he been like he just started taking campaign donations? He was a police captain. He was a senator. He was a Brooklyn borough. This didn't start just now. These Democrats been stealing money. And I
Well,
told you the last
you
time
know
what
when he
woke me
came in
up. What,
office, you know when
what
he
woke
came
me
in office,
up is when they
what?
changed the street signs. $86 million to change the street signs from lowercase to uppercase. That's it. They changed that. 86 million. Y'all, what are y'all doing? So you
Really?
think the street sign? Yeah, Google it.
Okay, I you
That
shit.
turned
You
my
just
that
told me
turned my
something
that
that I didn't know.
flipped.
And the funny thing about it is, I just did a podcast before this. A friend of mine's wife got a street named after her.
Okay.
I
The
don't know. You
first
might not have
letter is
heard her before.
uppercase.
April Simpson Taylor.
Okay, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Okay, so they just named the street from her in for her in Queensbridge, and so it's so funny you would say that about that sign situation because now that you said, I'm looking that there are a lot of new signs,
I'm
and I
trying
had
to
no
tell you something.
idea.
$86 million. So you saying that's worth more than our kids when you could have put that into after school programs, get them off the street. Y'all want them. Now y'all trying to create a pipeline from the streets to jail, schools to
Yeah, and that's
jail.
listen. They ain't trying to. It's there,
It's
and it's
been there,
there
but you
because
get what
I've
I'm trying to
experienced.
say.
Let me tell you something. I'm
Just
getting ready. I'm going through that with my son right now. All right,
yo, you know my
I'm
situation,
trying.
Uncle
I'm
Al.
fighting so hard to get him through school and him not end up in jail. It is insane, and
And it's
and it, and it,
hard.
and it, and it's and it, and it's on. It's pressure on me all the time because I continuously worry about because he right now he's 15 years old. He looks like a grown man. He got damn near as much hair on his face as you do. And I keep trying to tell him, yo, they see you as a grown man. You're not a 15-year-old kid to these
I be
people. So
scared. I be
you
scared to
gotta move.
walk down the block with my kid because they gonna think he's my friend instead of my son. And if they violate me, I understand because we've been through it. But to do it in front of my son, I turn into a different beast because I'm scared for my son.
Absolutely.
But I understand that too. But again, it goes with a lot. You could teach your kid to be the Pope, but once he go outside and sniff that air like a cat, there's no holding back. You know how
That's a
cats do. They
fact.
sniff their air, they come back home, but they got that air. But again, but that's up to everybody, and that's what bringing me back to my initial thing. We need to still be that family. When I used to get my butt beat from the block up to the block down, that shaped me, and that helped a lot of people. But now it feel like, yo, why you there is a lot of disrespect on the kids' end because the government give them that power. And that's why I want to reform the ACS too. I want to merge
Need
ACS
to.
and
Need to.
I definitely need to reform that. I want to change it. I want to merge ACS and the Department of Homeless Shelters together. There's a lot of red tapes behind the two because it's imminent. And change it to Department of Family Services and Child Services. But it's going to be a long fight. I want to merge a lot of. There's a lot of red tape. This and we got to stop this and we got to stop that. But no, I need people. I want to bring all the unions to the table my first year and see how we can rectify the situation. I have a lot of plans that I want to do. I want to build plasma centers for initiative to help the health and help New York City. I want to do. I want to build my. I want to close Rikers. That's first, and I want to build on high crimes instead of petty crimes. I know low crimes, that's the catalyst because I understand. But I like to be proactive than reactive. If we can nip this stuff in the butt now, then I can do that. The stuff that like the
Listen, did broken windows ever work? Did that ever work?
no,
That
no.
concept, did that ever work?
It would never work, and I hate that concept. I hate the concept that when you go to a neighborhood, you got to treat them like that. Like that concept alone, and I challenged a lot of people when I first ran for mayor in 2017 about that theory. Like, what are we doing? There's a lot of people that like y'all just talking about Bill Bratton, Raymond Kelly. Like they good people, but they theories and they talk and how they talk is crazy. And I would never side with police having full immunity. I will never give y'all that.
Let me
Matter of
ask you
fact,
this because
I want oversight over the police. And plus, if you do over $150,000 in lawsuits, you got to pay the rest because it's been times I got
we're
no,
gonna
I've
see
been times
how
what,
that shit goes over. Because
but
I was just
it's all
getting ready
right.
to
But
answer
you
this
know
question.
what? We're gonna give incentives for the good cops too. But this is how we're gonna wing them out. We need to wing out the good cops and the bad cops. If you're not getting it, then it is what it is. But at the same time, y'all supposed to protect and serve. Why y'all wait till somebody hopped and give them a ticket? That's being reactive than proactive. We have to be proactive. We have to be, bro. We have to.
But
And that's
it's money in jailing people and
yeah,
putting them
but
in
that's
jail
not
and
what I'm
housing them.
into. And I'm gonna nip all that shit in the butt. Look, I want free trade schools to give people trades. We need. And
That's
if I was raised to understand how to run a business, then I would have been okay. But no, they teach us to have a good job, go get a 9 to 5. No, I want to teach these new kids how to manage a business. They
yo
have to
Scott.
understand.
I say that it's they give kids three choices. You go to school and learn how to be a laborer, or you go to jail. You go to school and learn how to be a minimum wage worker somewhere, or you go to jail. And that's why you have the prison, the school to prison
The
pipeline,
pipeline.
is because the kids are not being taught anything. They can't work for themselves, and a lot of them. Who
Nah,
the
we need
hell
to
wants to
stop
go
that.
work a 9 to 5 cutting up chickens in some factory somewhere? Like who wants to do? I know somebody has to do that, but guess what? The people that we have to do that, you're kicking them out the country. So
No,
I'm still trying to figure out who's supposed to do this work. Who's supposed to pick the cotton? Who's supposed to pull the tobacco? Who's supposed to harvest the tomatoes and the apples? Like I'm wondering who's supposed to do that
look,
because
depending on
I
the
don't
price.
know I don't know anybody that I grew up with or that I know that wants to do that work. I know they'll do that work to take care, but they don't want to do that work. All right. Um. So
But
I'm trying to figure
Uncle
out
Al, it
who.
depended on the price because you remember, I want to bring minimum wage up to $25 an hour. $25 an
Needs to
hour,
be
at least
at
minimum.
least,
But
at
again,
least,
but that
especially
goes
living
with
in New
raising
York City.
taxes. That goes with raising taxes, doing this, that, and third, because we have to still be financially stable for ourselves at New York City. The budget right now is 110,000. I mean, $110 billion. That's more than every New Yorker right now
Well,
in New York
that's the
City.
thing. What are they doing with that money?
That's why I said I want to create a public accountability office. I know that we have a comptroller, but my public accountability office is going to have those to come in and investigate and do what they need to do and bring people to justice. That's what we need. People that slacking and people that have them attitudes when you get on those lines in New York City. I'm not here for none of that. Times has changed. If you don't like your job, get out. It's time. That's
That's
it.
it. Listen, um, especially when you're a public servant. If you don't like being a public servant, you don't have to be.
You
I
don't
mean,
have to be.
do something
Nobody
else.
said you have to be here.
Exactly.
Nobody said you have to be here.
I
But you
agree.
know what? We gotta rectify all of that. Again, like I said, I don't have no problem with all cops. I got a problem with bad cops also. So this is how I'm gonna wing them out. When people say, "Yo, I gotta pay $150,000," and after that, we know who it is. The cops that turned their back on De Blasio. You seen that? You remember that? Everybody's gonna be in my office getting a write up soon because you know what? That's disrespectful. I'm the boss. Don't ever turn your back to me. I don't care about no union, no nothing. Do you go protest on your own time?
Mm.
Long as you on the clock, this is what it is. I'm your mayor. But you know what? A hard ass make a soft ass. Just like your boy Eric Adams. Just look at him. He was partying the whole 3 years.
Yeah, he was
He
partying.
signed with
He
Trump.
was.
He had the guy Trump guy. Oh, if he don't do it, then we gonna kick his ass. Like, well, what are we doing? As a black man, how dare you? I would have never signed on to that. The only way I'm signing on to that is if Trump himself, you gotta come. You gotta come here and tell me that. And you gotta give me a full pardon.
Yeah,
But he's
that whole
paid. He's
situation
set.
was shady.
He's set today or tomorrow. He's set. But we need to move forward as New York. You get what I'm trying to say? There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
And there's a lot that we need to rectify and fix. We need to fix the bus lanes. We need to fix everything that's going on. This congestion pricing. I'm not taking down congestion pricing until we make all that money that we pay for it. That's it.
Well, I mean, we all know that that's been the plan forever. They don't want people driving around Manhattan, and I get it. Um, um, and to a certain
Then lower
extent,
the
I
streets.
feel like that too because I don't go in, if it ain't late at night or I don't have a very specific reason to drive into Manhattan. I'm not driving to Manhattan. I'm going to. What
Right.
I do is I'll drive to Queensbridge over to Long Island City, park my
Take the
car, and get on
train.
the train and ride it to Manhattan. Or
But that's New
I'm
Yorker.
lucky out here where I live at. I can take the Long Island Railroad straight into Manhattan, and that's what
Okay.
I do. I don't unless it's late. I'm not driving to Manhattan because I don't want to be in all that traffic. So I get it,
Right.
So
I get it too.
I
But
don't
at the
live
same
there.
time,
I mean, I do have business there, but I can do that business online or do the. I'm not driving. Listen, to be honest, I'm not driving nowhere if I don't have to. Because look,
right.
I've been ordering shit, starting off food off of Amazon. Like, and let me tell you, I don't like Amazon. I
Right.
mean, I don't like the way they treat
Their
their
employees.
employees. But Amazon is a business. They the bomb. They
But they have a
Amazon.
they have a
You
union.
can't beat Amazon, huh?
They have a union though. And this is what I'm trying to say. I was a shop steward for a union back in the day when I used to work for City Bike. And it's what you fight for and what they fighting for you. Remember, y'all hold the cards, y'all the union. Y'all can stop product, y'all can stop everything. But that's on what your union and what your shops are
So
doing.
you definitely gonna be pro union.
Oh, yeah, of course, I am. But y'all not going to sit here and play neither with me because I don't play with people.
Okay.
For real, because they be trying to. I want longer contracts with more benefits. I'm definitely shooting for that longer contract. Why should they have to keep? I don't like stuff like that. But again, then every New York City resident has to have that minimum wage. That minimum wage have to go up
And you
expeditiously.
also believe that there should be a lot more recreation opportunities for our children in this city.
Of course, I said that.
Yeah.
I'm putting half of my salary on that.
Yeah, you said yeah, you did say that. You did say that.
I'll put my half of my salary. These kids need something to do that's
Yeah,
productive.
I really think that's a big deal and very important. Because I mean, you got all these religious people running around here. Y'all say it just in your Bible, don't it say the idle hands is a devil workshop? So why would
Right.
you not keep children busy? Why wouldn't you
Because the
do that?
pipeline, you said it yourself. Jail is the moneymaker. So if I got
Yeah,
them out here watching social media, acting like a fool, doing trends, where they gonna leave? But we
yeah.
need to change that.
And it's
We
so
need
funny.
more.
I'm trying to bring back the basketball culture in my projects. Like we used to produce basketball players like it wasn't athletes, period. Like it was crazy. And now we're not producing any. And I go out there and it makes me feel kind of crazy because the kids are not outside. And I know it's a different era now. Kids are not really outside like they were when I was younger, when you were younger. You know what I'm saying? But we could have them out there. All we gotta do is supervise them, and they'll be all right. We can't just have them out. They
Got
can't be
them.
just out there
No,
like
don't
they
say
was when we was
supervise.
kids, huh?
We gotta give them guidance. Don't say supervise. Say
Well,
guidance.
okay,
Wording is everything.
all
Wording is
right,
everything.
all right.
We gotta give them guidance. Like again, like you said, you have a 15-year-old. I have a 17-year-old, and I told him the first thing I said, like when he became after a certain age, my job is not to tell you no more. My job is to advise you because I gave you the keys. I gave you the keys. Now it's my job to advise you to have lived the best life because you're still gonna do whatever you want to do regardless. After what I
Yeah,
told you that.
yeah,
But again, that's us as we need to become more of a family, and we're slacking because we built this. We built this. Like I don't know, like why we still got shackles in our mind. Like time should have changed when Kamala lost. Like oh my god, that's a cure. That was cure to everything. Like yo, just really look at it. She lost. Like oh dang, and then she had support behind her. Like you said, $1 billion. She had
no,
Megan Thee
she made
Stallion.
a lot of
She had
mistakes. She made a lot of mistakes.
that whole party. Don't just say her.
Okay, okay. I agree.
And
Okay.
I always say that, and people always got mad at me for saying that.
Nah,
But at the end
it's
of the
you
day, there's a
you
lot of
telling the truth.
mistakes. For
Telling the
me
truth.
to be in politics and me watching both parties is like, okay, he got his shit together, even though he telling lies or whatever, but he got something going on over there. But to each his own, man. Like I'm not worried about federal. I'm not worried about the state. I'm not trying to worry about Honcho. I'm not trying to go up to what is
Or
that? New York
Albany.
State,
Or
Albany, whatever.
yeah,
The
Albany.
shake no tin can because I'm not that type of person. We gonna make this money for ourselves. And if we could be financially stable, which I did put out a 10-page proposal about it, how we could be financially stable from New York government. We can, and the federal government, but we have to hone in on our own resources, which it is what it is. And we bring in these big companies, Tesla, Google, Yahoo, and all these other companies. Yeah, y'all gonna invest in these train stations. We need to get them investing in something. What are they doing here if they're not investing back?
Yeah, our
But
infrastructure is going to shit, and that's not just here in New York City. That's all over the
but
country.
they got the money, they got the resources. Just use them.
That's Scott. That's a thing that bothers the hell out of me because it's just like if you remember when they was talking. That's why I asked you. I started over with that immigrant thing as far as New York because first of all, we allowed people to send immigrants here that shouldn't have been sent here. They should have been sent where they were needed. They shouldn't have been sent here. And even though this is a sanctuary city, when they sent them here, we should have sent them where they were needed. We should have sent them out west. Should have sent them back down south where they were needed. Because right now there's a shortage of workers in a lot of states. They're not talking about it, they're not telling you about it because they're so focused on getting rid of them when we actually need them. When immigrants, the fact is, immigrants put more into this country than they take out of it. That's just a fact. It's no shape one. They pay
We all know
taxes.
that.
They
Us,
pay taxes. They pay
we know
taxes
that.
just like we do. They don't. They may not pay, even if they don't pay
Federal
income
taxes. They
tax.
don't take.
Even if
They
they
don't
don't
pay
pay
federal.
federal income tax, they still pay taxes because everybody that comes in this country pays taxes. Every time you spend a dime, a nickel, quarter, you're paying taxes. Every time you buy something, you're paying taxes. And even after you buy some things, you still have to continue paying taxes on it, like your house, like your car. So miss me with that BS. And they
That's not
don't
what it's
get.
about, Uncle Al. That's not what it's about. It's more deeper than that. So just think about it. The states that Kamala won was all people that don't do IDs for voter registrations. So we got to really think about what's really going on. Why are you really bringing them over here?
Well, this is what I'm saying. Like people confused. What you just said, I don't think that's true.
It is.
I would need to. I would need to verify that
Google,
you saying
yep.
all the
Do your
states that
research.
Kamala won, every state that she won, don't
Don't
require
need. You don't
ID.
need an ID to vote.
I don't know any state that you don't need an ID to vote.
What?
I don't know any state that you don't need an ID to vote.
Okay. New York, you need an ID to vote.
Yeah, yes, you do.
Do you? Do you? No, you
Yeah,
don't.
yeah, you
No,
do.
you
I
don't.
get asked for my ID every time I get to vote.
Yeah, but once
Go to
you
vote.
you ever said that you don't have an ID,
Well, I that may be true, but also I get asked for my registration card. So that's like
but
an
do
ID. So because you can't get a registration card if you didn't register the ID, and you can't register the ID if you don't
you
have an
can have
ID.
a
You
New
couldn't
York
register
City,
it without an ID, huh?
but you can have a New York City ID and register for it too. And New York City ID, you don't really need the ID to vote, like to have it. All you need is information where you live. I'm just
I,
saying,
I,
do your research, and we get back to that on part two.
I be, the reason why I say that is because it's already been disputed many times. It's just like people claim that immigrants get Social Security and all that,
I ain't
and
say that.
well, they do get a form of it, but they're not getting
Look, at
Social
the end of
Security.
the
They're not
day, I
getting what
don't
I get,
look. I don't care about none of that. That has nothing to
huh?
do with New York City. That has nothing to do with New York City. That's New
What
York
does?
State. That's New York State and New
Well,
York
let me
government.
tell you. Then you forgot what happened with your boy.
Who?
Let's talk about it
Adam?
again. When they sent all, because that's what I was talking about. When they sent all them immigrants here, remember he said there was no money for them. All right, but then when somebody came up with the what you just said that they may become voters, all of a sudden he found money for them.
I'm just
But
saying, just
but but
do.
what you but that wasn't true that they were going to become voters. But just because somebody said that,
He thought
you
no, no,
can't.
no. He thought they was, and that's why
Yeah,
they do it.
yeah. Everybody thought they was because that's a lie. See, sometimes we believe. Listen,
I don't think it was a lie. I think it was true, but at the same time, the immigrants were really the migrants, not immigrants, the
it
migrants.
is true if they go through the process of becoming naturalized citizens. Then they will be able to vote. But until that happens, they can't vote. That they can't vote. And do you know? Okay, let me ask you something. How much fraud do you think there is in the Social Security system?
Many,
Huh?
many because they still giving out checks to people that passed away.
Now, see, that's a
Many.
lie. That's a lie. And why would you? Do you know that for a fact, bro?
I really believe it.
No, but see, just because you believe it, don't make it
I
so.
believe it.
That
I
don't make
know,
it so. There's
but
actually 1% fraud in the Social Security. That's a fact. It's been stated by too many people. See,
who's the people
the
that
only
was?
people that say that that what you just said was Elon Musk. and he's a fucking clown. He didn't understand the system. He didn't understand the information that he was reading. And if you don't understand the information, it does look like people that are 100 years old is still getting Social Security because there's a glitch in the system where there's no expiration date. But them people are not still receiving checks. They're not.
Are you sure?
No matter, yes, I'm
Are you sure?
positive because too many independent people have investigated. And the only person that said that dumb shit is Elon Musk.
I
He's
don't
the only
know,
one.
bro. I don't
And he's the
know.
same person that's right now, like he's so smart right now. He just destroyed his company. And you still taking his word for anything?
Trump destroyed his company plenty of times.
Absolutely. He's
But
never
where
been
he at?
successful at
But
anything
where
but
is he?
being a
Well,
fake
where is he?
actor. But being
Where
a
is
fake
he?
actor. See, and I don't understand why people put any that validity in anything that he says. Every time he opens his mouth, it's a lie.
So you saying that they just didn't do a sting and catch 219 sexual predators? They just did a
Oh,
sting.
I don't know about. That I don't know about. But until I actually see the evidence of that, until I see somebody going to court, till I see some court cases, no, I don't believe that. Because see, that's what I'm
So
talking
what
about. You
Democrats say you
saying,
believe?
huh?
What the
What?
Democrats say you believe that too?
What the Democrats?
Yeah,
I don't
whatever they
believe shit
said
the
last.
Democrats say. What are you talking about?
I'm just that
I
it
don't
was a
believe
question.
nothing a politician says without
Right,
verify. I verify
right. No, no,
everything.
no.
Anything
That
that
you
comes
said
out of
it.
politician mouths, I don't care what party he's from. I don't care black or white, blue, green, or whatever. I'm going to verify any information that I assimilate and that I disseminate, that I
That
pass
you're
on to
gonna
other people.
verify.
You need to believe that I have investigated and I pretty much know it to be fact. Now, we can never be absolutely sure of anything if we wasn't there in the room.
Right,
Okay, so I agree. You can never be absolutely sure with anything, but I say there's a preponderance of evidence. There's
right,
evidentiary procedures. There's parliamentary procedures. You got to know. You got to know how this government works and how the laws of evidence work. And I'm very clear on that.
right.
And things have to be corroborated. If you tell me something and I say, damn, that don't sound like somebody. What I'm gonna say? Somebody showed me a picture of France. There was a whole crowd, big crowd in France just recently, and they were saying, oh, they were doing that to back Iber Torre and Burkina Faso and everything like that. I looked at that. I said, why would they do that in France when they're the ones who are in Africa trying to exploit Burkina
Right.
Faso? So why would they have a big thing? So I investigated, found out it wasn't for Burkina Faso, it was for some Portuguese shit, and it had nothing to do. But see, you let people, if you don't investigate shit, because at first I'm looking, I said, oh, that's crazy. They really doing that? Then I thought about it. I said, why would people in France be when they've been making they the main people that's still colonizing Africa, still making money off Africa. So why would they be out there protesting? They make money.
Right.
They only exist right now. Europe only exists because of Africa. Europe could not exist without Africa. As a matter of fact, there's a lot of things we wouldn't have or couldn't have if it wasn't for Africa. Because you wouldn't have an iPhone if it wasn't for
Right.
Africa.
No, that's a fact.
All right. You wouldn't have the internet. You wouldn't have this certain satellites. And let me tell you something. Do you understand that Elon Musk is trying to take over the world with Starlink? And he's about to do that shit. What's that shit with what's the name was in when that robot came back from the future and took off Skynet?
Oh,
Skynet.
Terminator.
See, y'all ain't paying. People ain't paying attention.
Skynet.
Yeah, because that's what Elon is doing with Starlink. Starlink is basically the same
Look,
thing. Do you
look.
realize that?
Yeah, I
Think about it.
understand, but
Think about
I'm
it.
worried. I'm worried more
And
about
he's
me.
trying right now, he's trying to take over the federal administration. As a matter of fact, they don't fucked it up so bad. That's why all these planes is crashing. They're gonna they crashed, letting all these planes crash, and there's gonna be more major crashes
Right.
because that's the excuse they're gonna use for Elon to take over the AA, the federal, the communication, the FAA, whatever that shit is that controls the airlines. That's the
The
excuse they're gonna use for him to take
FAA.
care of it. Then he's through NASA, he's gonna take over the satellite system for this entire country. He's going to be able to shut this country down whenever he feels like it.
Right.
And he
I
doesn't realize he's
understand.
already said it. He's already building a product like Starlink, that robot that can self-replicate itself and can grow and
I
learn.
see
And
that.
okay, It's coming true. You need people. I think people don't. I guess you got to get as old as me. I'm down there 70 years old, so I done seen all this. I seen
Right.
the phone. The right now the phone that we use. I seen that 50 years ago on Star Trek. Star Trek, the communicator.
No,
It's the
I know
same
what you're
thing
talking
that we have in
about.
our hands right now. All right. So this is not a game, and they're not playing. And it's the Democrats' fault that the Republicans are allowed to do what they're doing right now. But what I don't like is when my people should not disseminate false information. If you don't know for a fact something, because just because you feel something's a fact, you can't just go with feelings. I'm sorry. You got to have some evidence. You got to have some real documentation to support something that you say, because it doesn't make sense. And a lot of people do it to say shit just to say it, just because have something to say. If you don't really know something or you don't really know about something, then like say that. Like it's okay not to know.
Right.
Because I'm realizing the more and more that I do this stuff and I do all this news and education stuff, that a lot of people don't know stuff. A lot of people just heard shit and have never done any real research of their own, and really got to the bottom of things. Uh, like people believe what's that karma. Do you know what karma means? What karma actually means?
What does it mean?
Karma is your being. It really doesn't have anything to do with shit coming back to you. It really doesn't. But let everybody tell it does. But that's not what it actually means.
Okay.
And I'm finding that a lot, that I was taught things and I thought things that wasn't true all my life, especially when it comes to religious stuff. Forget about it. That's why I don't celebrate, me and your uncle,
Me and my father.
your father. That's why we don't celebrate no holidays. And I
I
I
don't. I
started
don't
doing that
either.
partly because of him, but then I did my own research about all these holidays, and I found out they all pagan. They all, yeah, and it's right, right. It's all about money.
I
Getting
know.
you to spend money, getting you to spend money on shit that you don't need, or that you
While
can't
they
afford.
eating, while we eat, they eating. We over here still starving just for one day. And I tell everybody I know it's a holiday. Every time we come, I'm gonna break bread. I'm gonna show love, not just for one day, because y'all can have this one day. What about the extra days? My uncle
I got
Al, I
you.
gotta go. I gotta go.
Okay, man. Listen, man. I appreciate talking to you. I appreciate you doing this, and just talking to
Nah,
you. I
thank you
see
for
that
having me,
even though
man.
you may have certain ideas about something, you're open to other things, because we didn't really have a problem. Even though I disagreed with a couple of things you said, I agree with most of what you said, which is a good thing. And I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna promote you. I'm gonna like I'm in your corner to help you do this here. I would really shit. It would be amazing if you became mayor. That shit would be
I would, it's something that I always wanted to do. But like I want to do it because I have a vision. I've been here. I've been in this city. I'm 38 years old, so I work with various agencies and I manage a lot also. Um, but at the end, I imagine a city where the kids will learn financial literacy in middle school, and where every high school graduate they leave with trade schools and a pathway to a good job. I definitely imagine New York where first responders are honored and have real sense for good conduct and held responsible when they fail. And at the end of the day, we gotta understand where every corner store and every neighborhood center thrives. We could help them re-image the economic development for them. You get what I mean? In the
yes.
future, I definitely, I want to invest in it.
All right. So it looks like I lost contact with Scott. Wait, hold up. Maybe he's still here. Let me see.
Rikers
Okay, you
Island
back.
into
I lost you
revenue
for a
and
minute. I
create
lost you for a
jobs
minute.
through a public cannabis farm, launch a warfare, bring back warfare market, which will bring a lot of money to the city. And we got to just make sure we there for each other. If anybody need me, it's Joyner for Mayor. JIMDOSITE.com. We got a petition. We got anything that y'all need to just, join the cause. Thank you for having me, Uncle.
Yo, you welcome, man, because this will be a hell of a scoop if you make it to be mayor.
Your live for God is, man. That's
No doubt.
it, man.
Yo, you be blessed, man, and
Man,
we'll
thank
talk
you for
soon.
having me. Thank you. I'm sorry it
Yo,
took a
we're gonna
long
do this
time.
again. We're gonna do
No,
this
yeah.
again.
Oh,
All
yeah.
right,
We definitely gonna do this again.
all right. You be safe.
All right. Have a good night. See
You
y'all
too.
later.
One.